Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. I am the motorcycle rescuer and this is Motorcycle Rescuer. So yes, welcome back. Couple of thoughts and feelings about this bike. Head gasket might have been gone. No, I don't think so. The reason is it's done extremely low mileage and it's been used daily, blah blah blah. We know this bike inside out. It was brand new, bought from the factory. What that was oil. They hadn't, the truth is they hadn't changed that oil on the last service. Actually, Rabjab should be fuming. He should go back to KTM, who did that last service, and say, why didn't you change the oil? I mean, obviously we can't prove that they didn't, but we know for a fact that 2 months later the oil does not look like that. The other thing is, people do put crap in, they piss in it. Guys, I've seen it all before. When I was a teen, they do stupid things, and like lots of you know, they also kind of burn bikes out. They just kind of, these people who are stealing bikes, they're entitled, aren't they? They're entitled to anything and everything. They can just take it, and you're not allowed to have it, and they think, oh well, the insurance will cover it. They're too naive to really understand how insurance works, blah 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 and all that. So I don't think it has any head gasket issues. I don't think it has any issues at all, and it's in okay nick. It's in good nick considering this has been stolen. One of the things I wanted to kind of readdress was that this is the ignition switch, okay, so obviously it's sat in there like that. Now I thought this was barreled, which means you, like I said before, you put a screw in, pop the head out, and you turn this with a screwdriver. Actually, it hasn't been. I think they've snapped this by kicking it or something. So it's sitting in there, they snapped the steering lock, pow, and then it has a big long stem on it. Actually, it comes right up here because there's meant to be a panel here. Look, it's snapped. They've snapped it. Maybe even a hammer, actually. So I would say that your KTM is even more vulnerable than I thought it was last week. Because if you can just give this a smack with a hammer and you're down to the innings, look, there's the switch. My God, these bikes are vulnerable. I spoke to KTM. I spoke to them a couple of times. I'm going to put, if I can find it, I'm going to put my email to them up now. And then, again, if I can find it, I'm going to send you their response. Now, I'm not happy with their response for a couple of reasons. One is that they acknowledge that there's absolutely no security at all on these bikes. Two, I believe they've broke our current laws by saying that it has to be serviced by an official KTM dealer to keep the warranty in place. And I don't think within that email their priority should have been that. I don't think they should have said that. I've sent them an email saying my mate's bike was taken, blah blah blah. I'm shocked that there's no security on these bikes considering the price. They've said sorry to hear that, blah. I can confirm there is no security. Make sure you get it fixed at an authorised KTM dealership so the warranty's void. I don't think they should have gone there. I think they should have been extremely sympathetic, empathetic even, and they should have kind of said, we're really sorry about this. They could have even offered to send some parts rather than actually encourage us to use them after we've been quite pissed off at them for the fact that they've sold bikes without alarms or immobilisers. Now the biggest issue for me is, and you guys can go online now and do some research, is nowhere on any of their websites, any of their publications, any of the specifications of this bike does it say there's no security at all. Nowhere does it say that. And I think they're being a bit sly, because you look at this and you look at the computer and you look at the little red flashing light that comes up every now and again, and you think, wow, that's obviously safe. So there you go, there's my rant for today. KTM need to sort themselves out. I wouldn't touch a KTM at the moment, considering their customer service, but I do want you guys out there who own these 125s to realise that I can nick this in 30 seconds if you have a hammer. So you've got to put fat chains on, you've got to put alarms and everything else. So I've been thinking about this hidden switch idea. I don't think it's a terrible idea. My slight concern, and I think it's fair, is that I don't want to introduce any weak points into the system. So of course I can wire in a switch, and of course it can be okay. But I think you out there, if you're considering this, has to be done properly. As you can see, I have no access to solder, so I do certain twisting methods, and I tape with my wiring, or I put connectors on and crimped, and sometimes I do a mixture of both. And that's probably what I'll do here, a mixture of both crimp connectors and twisting. And it will be okay. I just need to find, I do have some switches in there, I just need to find one. And then you need to find a place for it, and it can't be overly obvious, and it can't be overly hidden. Rabjab needs to remember what to do. Now I can easily get here because we're in here. I think for me, kind of here might be your best bet. You want a switch that doesn't have a light on it, so that people can see. If you're doing this, I would go in there. But saying that, if someone hot wires the bike and it doesn't start, the first thing they're going to look for is a switch. I think I'm going to hide Rabjab somewhere completely separate, so that only me and him know it. I think that's fair. I think that's safe. And of course, while we're here, I'm going to throw on a very loud alarm system. What I didn't realise in the past, otherwise I would have done it earlier, I didn't realise that they were so easy to nick, guys. I promise you I didn't realise. I thought an alarm isn't going to help too much because they're picking these up and throwing them in fans. I didn't realise they were riding them around the corner after hot wiring them in 30 seconds. So I'm going to put a loud alarm. I've got my loud alarms. I don't know what these ones are called anymore. They're possibly Demon tweaks. They used to be called the Cyclone C2 alarms. They're very, very good. They're loud, robust alarms. No immobilisers. Loud, robust alarms. And I think that's what you want when someone rattles your bike. You want it to be ear-piercing, really. You want it to scream. You don't want them to be able to find it easily. It needs to be hidden away, but it needs to be kind of pointing out. So I'm going to use this area kind of here and really tuck it away, but you've got all that open space where it can spew out its really loud, annoying noise. So I'm going to throw the alarm on first, I think. I've got a very slight concern about the switches. They look a tiny little bit different, but that's because that one hasn't got its stem. So let me show you, one moment. So actually, this one's wider, the new one's wider. Look. And you think that once it's seated it might be better, but it won't, because that's where the bolt holes go. So even though this said for 2020 KTM, it's not the right one. That was moto. They're normally quite good. It is annoying though. I hate that. That means we have to wait a few more days. Right, I'm going to have to repackage that. I've got all the box over there, and get online and see what's going on. For now, we can do the alarm and hidden switch. To an extent, the bike could be usable. I can make the switch. For now, I can create a switch that switches the whole thing on, although I don't think Rajab's going to want that. Alright, well maybe the KTM's not going to be ready for a few more days. So, sadly Rajab's here with his helmet, But it's just not, it's not right. We're kind of contemplating now putting the bike back together, putting a switch on, putting a loud alarm on. I don't think we should. I don't think we should. Moto don't have the part in stock. So annoying. And it's bloody hard to find. Even when I was looking at all the Indian switches, as in the switches from India, they're not the right ones. So there really isn't many of these switches about at the moment, which is not ideal. Right, I think I've convinced him. There's no point messing with switches and no steering lock. Someone's going to take it. Let's get it done properly. What that does is that brings me back to the KSR Moto today. That's fine. I'll chuck his number plate on so it's there, and I'll put the alarm on later because it's not, because it can all be here hidden away. But apart from that, I'll leave it alone. KSR Moto. I can't remember exactly where I got to last week, but it was running and riding well, I believe. It did have a minor leak in the carb, which I don't think you guys saw in the video. I think I edited it out. But it happens sometimes when carbs are coming on and off. They just get a bit of a knock, or a bit of dirt comes through or something. So, but that's fine. I took it off, cleaned it, and went back to square one. So the KSR Moto technically runs, rides, blah, blah, blah. One thing I did recognise, I'm going to put it out and show you now, is that I haven't secured the rear of the exhaust pipe. So I need to think about how I do that. I think the best way to secure the exhaust would be from here to here. Now what that exactly is, I'm not sure. Don't know. I have got an exhaust bracket for back here, but then there's nowhere technically to bolt it on, and then the shrouding wouldn't necessarily go back on. So I do think this is the best spot, something here up to here, but just not quite sure what that is right now. Could be a big old clip or something. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's solid, you know, it's not going anywhere, but of course we need it to be extra secure. There's a bolt up there, but again, it doesn't go anywhere, so what would you do? Let me get you up there. So look, I mean, even if you put a bolt across through there to sit on there, but then what you might get is you might get tapping. So we could go something all the way around here, up to there, or something from there to there. What that is at this stage, I'm not sure. In fact, it may even be some of them metal cable ties that I've used on the lexmoto. Let me see if I've got any. So I've used the metal cable ties down here, 2 on there and 1 up here. That should be plenty, as it wasn't particularly bad anyway. I do have this panel coming, that should be here soon. Apart from that, guys, I mean, it doesn't feel like we're at a stage where it's fairly ready for whatever. It doesn't feel like that, but it kind of is. The problem is I started at such a low start on this bike. Normally I'd be polishing the hell out of it, wouldn't I? I'd be touching up black parts, popping them off, recoating them. I don't think that's for me on this one. I think I'll give it a simple wipe over with a rag, get it MOT'd, get it sold. Still contemplating things like the air filter, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and get the GoPro actually now, and I'll pop back up. What's up? And I'll pop back up, and I'll do a very quick GoPro run with you guys, and then I'll do an oil dip, and I'll just see kind of what the oil's looking like to me. I don't think I've dropped or drained this oil, so it would be, you know, we may as well. So yes, I'm going to get the GoPro. I'll show you guys a quick run. I think from an MOT point of view, it's there. Ideally, I'll have the side panel just so it doesn't look so messy. And then other than that, it's fine. I mean, I ran it and rode it the other day, and it was spot on. So I'm going to try that again. So GoPro first.
rides well.